Alrighty, so welcome everybody to our team call for Fit Family Network. I'm not sure what the date is, January 20-somethingth, 23rd. Yeah. Thank you guys. January 23rd. So it's been an exciting month so far with lots of things going on in Beachbody land with the health bet and Super Saturday and New Year's resolution and all that stuff. So I did have a couple of slides and announcements and stuff that I wanted to go over real quick. And then we are going to talk tonight about team culture, and not necessarily just for your team, like your team of coaches, but also just kind of creating a culture just in your challenge groups or your support groups or your team page or your like page or whatever. So, but first, let me go into screen share. Okay, here we go. Okay, can somebody verbally tell me that you can see the slide?
Yep.
Yes, okay, good. All right, so just some updates. Obviously, the annual All Access Beachbody on Demand is available, and this is going to be running through February 28th for the 3 Success Club points. So I don't know, if they're going to keep that around, with the 3 points going forward, or if the price is going to change, or what they're going to do with that. I haven't heard anything yet, but just keep in mind, like, I think that is such a really cool deal, like with everything that you get, because you get your Shakeology, you get a full year of Beachbody on Demand All Access, and then you also get the portion fix stuff, so that way they're getting the meal plan and all of that to go with their on demand. And just like a little side note about on demand, I know a lot of us use it now just because it's easier than using DVDs. But I would tell you to find more ways to talk about the coolness of Beachbody on Demand. And if you don't know the coolness of Beachbody on Demand, it just means that you haven't really spent that much time using it yourself. And if you're not using it yourself, then it's very hard to share the value of the product. So, like, to me, some of the stuff that I think is cool about it is, well, first of all, not having to carry around your DVDs and stuff. But also, I really love the master trainer workouts that are a part of On Demand. So, like, if you go under programs, there's a section that says master trainers, and it's basically like some of the master trainers, which are like the Beachbody Live instructors. And it's like as if you were going and taking a class for some of the live formats, like Insanity Live, Pio Live, Size Live. I don't think there's a Country Heat Live on there yet, but, P90X Live. And so it's just a really cool way, like if you just want something different, you want to change it up a little bit. It's just a cool way to do something different. And the on-demand, or the live workouts are a part of Beachbody on Demand, like even if you don't have the all access, I believe is part of just like the regular. So that I think is a really cool feature. Also, another thing to bring up is like the autumn active maternity. And I think that's a really cool perk too, because I know that I meet a lot of people that want to do something when they're pregnant, and but they don't want to, and I have a hard time like telling somebody like, oh, maybe you should buy a whole brand new fitness program, but like, telling them about the Beachbody on Demand system, and that there's a program specific to maternity on there is, a really cool way. And then of course, with on demand, you get the previews when there's a new program coming out, and you get that access in advance. And then of course the Fixate cooking show. So those are like some really cool things to make sure that you're telling them about it, because if you're just saying, oh, it's online access to the program, then it's really not as cool as everything that it does actually include. Okay, the other thing I wanted to bring up is about Team Cup. So registration opened on the 15th for Team Cup. So make sure that you have a team. And I don't care if you've never gotten a Success Club point in your life. I don't care if you've never gotten Success Club before. This is just something to push yourself. This is just something to say, you know what? I'm going to join on a team. I am going to align myself with some people, and I'm going to commit to doing the daily activities of building this business during the month of February and see what happens. You know, like what's the worst that could happen? You are going to be a stronger coach because you committed to being on Team Beachbody Cup than if you had not joined at all. So I really want to urge you to think about it if you haven't already and just join a team, because at the end of the day, like if you are giving it your all and you're doing all the 4 vital behaviors and doing what you're supposed to do, then whether you get Success Club or get points or whatever your team goals are for the Team Cup, you're just going to be much better for trying than having not gotten on a team at all. So that's just a great way, you know. And the other cool thing that I love about Team Cup is that maybe you don't go with the same 4 people that you're always on a team with, you know, like maybe you go outside of your normal and maybe go outside of your specific downline or specific, you know, team, and maybe reach out to some other people that are in Fit Family. And, you know, that kind of gives you some influence from some, you know, some other ways of doing things, some other ways of inviting or running groups or running sneak peeks or whatever it is. So it's just a really great opportunity to grow yourself. Another thing, and this was in the back office, but I just wanted to make it a point to let you guys know, Country Heat Challenge Pack is permanently brought down to the 140 price point. So 140 for US and 164 for Canada. And for those of us that have registered and are on board for the Success Club trip next year, all Success Club points are double dollars towards the trip for next year. So that is super exciting. And then you also get, if you are a Success Club 5 qualifier, you get to receive an exclusive invitation to a PD webinar with Rachel Cruz. So I've been really loving these PD webinars because I just think it's like there's a lot more value than getting a bobblehead that comes in the mail and usually ends up breaking because Mikey plays with it and drops it on the floor. So I've been loving these PD webinars, and I've gotten a lot of value out of them, and I know you guys have too. So that's for January. So there is a post going on already in Fit Family Network about the Team Cup. So make sure that if you don't have a team, make sure that you have posted, and we will definitely make sure to get you connected with a team. So I wanted to give a couple of shout outs to some coaches that are some movers and shakers. So Sarah Manaresi, she is, and I wanted to give her a specific shout out because she is giving back to her community, and she's running a fitness challenge at the school where her kids go. And it's funny because we were just talking about this before the call started, and she didn't know I was going to talk about it. But I just think it's so awesome that the people in our team, in our network, in our Fit Family, you know, we're not just about like Success Club points. We're actually out there trying to make a difference, trying to plant seeds in the community that are going to like sprout into bigger things. And like the amount of time and energy and love that she's investing into this project, you know, I know that that is going to blossom into so many other things. So I just wanted to make sure I gave a shout out to Sarah. And then also Danita Turner, she is running her very first challenge group, and Tina Fraley had posted about that. And I know that that is exciting and scary and nerve-wracking and all these things at once. And so Danita, we just wanted to, as a team, give you a shout out and let you know that we were proud of you for taking that first step into running your very first challenge group and taking these people under your wing to get them involved and on track with their health and fitness goals. All right, so Success Club for the month of January. We already have a ton of coaches that have qualified for Success Club and have points on the board. So I am excited and proud of you guys for that. I actually made a goal for Fit Family Network to have 100 coaches hitting Success Club every month. And, just looking at this chart, I think that's going to be totally possible. And that's super exciting to me because every single point equates to somebody's life, equates to somebody that is taking that opportunity to help themselves and to trust in you, trust in these products, and like to have that transformation. So to shout out to all of you guys, our SC10 people, Jenna, Kristen, Allison, Nina, Natalie, Megan, Michelle, Robin, and Tina. You guys already have SC10, and there's still another 8 days left in this month. So, and then we've got a lot of people already locked in for SC5 and a lot of you guys with points on the board. So shout out to you guys, and I'm proud of you all for pushing through and inviting and following up and sharing your journey with your network. And that is everything I had for announcements. Stop share. Okay, so did anybody have any questions or anything about those announcements, about Team Cup, about On Demand? Does anybody have any kind of specific tips that you'd like to share about how you are talking about On Demand? Like, does anybody feel like that is your like go-to strong point, like talking about On Demand? Robin is shaking her head, yes.
Yeah, I would say that right now I've probably sold, since it came out, maybe 5 or 6 of those.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the best value because, you're not going to have to be limited just to one program. And you can basically sample them all and you can jump from program to program. And it's perfect for people who think they may be coaches because it gets them set up with, any program, and they're going to already, quiet, to be able to hop from program to program. And I share how in the past we used to have to buy individual programs, and that's not the case anymore. And equate it to gym membership, it's a lot cheaper, equivalent to Netflix. So it's about the prices of Netflix. So I feel like I get more traction with that now than I do a regular challenge pack.
Okay, yeah. Do you talk about some of those other features that I mentioned, or do you find that helpful, or do you find that people see the extra value in that?
Sorry, my son's about to come in the door. My dogs are going berserko. Yeah, I share about Fix A and some of the series of the 20s or whatever it's called. A lot of my market isn't really into reality TV like that. But I talk about Fix A and a lot of the different recipes on there. And a lot of times I'll send them a couple of the links of the recipes and just saying how it's like there's a lot of tools and resources. There's the calendars on there. So basically you're going to get everything that you would normally get in a package, but it's all going to be basically virtual, and that they can print off their calendars, the meal plans, and all that sort of stuff. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never looked into the master trainer workouts though. So it was the first time I heard about them earlier when you mentioned them earlier.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's like one of my favorite things. I love to do those because it's just like, especially, because I'm going through like a PIO phase right now. And so even if you just kind of want to change it up from the regular PIO program and then you do PIO live, just having a different instructor, and plus the live formats. Well, you're an instructor, so the live formats are just a little bit different than the program, the DVDs. So it's pretty cool. Anybody else have any tips that you can share about Beachbody On Demand? Share how you are kind of implementing that into your invites or anything like that?
I just talk about how cheap I am.
Mm-hmm.
Just talking about how, yeah, I'm a coach, but I'm a customer first. And last year between Beachbody On Demand and programming, I paid $385. And this year I'm paying $99. That's it. I mean, and that's without Shakeology. I'm paying $99. 3 new programs are coming out this year, and I'm not going to pay anything extra for them. I'm like, I have bills to pay. We have clothes to put on our kids, that kind of thing. If I can save like $285, that's a lot of money. So just kind of that, and just talking about how they're, like sometimes when you get bored, with a program that you've done, how there's exclusives for just that program. So like Core de Force has at least 2 exclusives that you can't even get on DVDs. So, yeah. And there's the travel aspect too. I have a lot of friends who travel for work. It's just, oh, really? You can just pull up on your phone? Yeah, take it to the gym. Mm-hmm. Do it in your hotel room.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. I like what you said about the price point. Because as I look back, I think about like how many programs I have purchased as a coach over the years. And some of them I've bought just because I wanted like the familiarity with the program, not necessarily that I ever planned on doing it. And like this totally takes that away, because you get access to everything, the meal plan even. So that's a really good point. I like that. And I've seen some other graphics going around on social media that are kind of comparing the price of on-demand versus the price that you pay for a gym membership. And that's been something I've been wanting to do as well. Cause like I know Mike and I signed up, we got a gym membership. We signed up, I think last year during the winter because they have an indoor pool, and we were like, oh, we're going to take Mikey to the indoor pool every day. And you know how that goes. And we've taken him like twice. But that's $45-ish a month. And, like if you multiply that out over time, I mean, the value is just crazy for what you get with on demand. So cool. Well, all right. So let me go ahead, and I wanted to share a little bit about culture. And the reason that was on my mind today is because I don't know if you guys saw my Facebook post earlier where I talked about a video that I watched from Simon Sinek about leadership, and that's always, his topic. He's the author of Leaders Eat Last and People Follow You. And he's somebody I follow on YouTube and stuff like that. But then somebody in The Wall posted this particular video, and he was talking about how he was at the Four Seasons in Las Vegas, and like the barista at the coffee shop there was just like super exceptional. Just like really went above and beyond. He didn't really exactly explain how or what he did as a barista that made his experience there so much better. But the interesting thing was that this guy also works at Caesar's Palace. And he said that so as he was doing like such a great job, it prompted him to say, like, do you like your job here? Do you like what you do? And he like immediately without hesitation said, yes, I absolutely love working here. And he says, why? And it came down to the environment and the culture that the management has created for their workplace there at Four Seasons, and that they like the managers and supervisors don't come around and check to like micromanage and make sure that they're like the employees are doing their job, but instead they come around to just say, hey, how can I help you? What can I do to make your job better this week? What can I do to help support you in what you need to do the best job you can do for your role here? And like that's kind of how they support their employees there, versus at Caesar's Palace, he said that he doesn't enjoy doing his job there, and that he basically just kind of does the bare bones minimum to get by, to stay under the radar, because at Caesar's Palace, they're more like in the micromanagement mode, like where they're like covering over you to, see like, oh, are you, checking in on you? Are you doing what you're supposed to be doing? Are you, and they just kind of like make you feel like they're just on top of you. They don't trust you. They don't really care about you as a person. They just want to make sure you're doing your tasks, and that's it. So that just kind of got me thinking about culture in general, like for our teams, for our challenge groups, for our Facebook pages and things like that. And it was funny because like, as I was thinking about that, I posted about it on my page and stuff. And then I also got an email from John Gordon, who's the person that wrote Energy Bus. And it was also about culture. And I'm like, all right, so God is placing this thing about culture all over the place. So he must want me to talk about it. So that's what we're doing. So anyways, I think, the other thing about culture though, that I want to say is, from a lot of the conversations I've had with our coaches, as well as coaches from like Team Dynasty that have gotten to be a part of some of our events, that is probably the number one thing that I hear from people that is different from other teams. Like the team culture that Fit Family Network has is much different than what a lot of other teams do and have. And I'm really proud of that, because we created something that is not like, we don't have drama, we don't have competitiveness, we don't have like a lot of like pettiness like that, where you're like, oh, I don't want to share my my challenge group posting guide because so-and-so is going to steal it. Like, none of those things like ever cross our mind. Like, all of us are always very open to share, always open to help somebody else, even if it doesn't directly help you with your, if it's not like a direct downline coach of yours. Like, everyone is always super willing to help and be there and support and mentor and, in any way. And I love that about our team. So anyways, some of the tips that John Gordon mentioned in his thing about culture is that culture drives expectations and beliefs. And when I was thinking about that, I was thinking like, how did this culture that we have in our team start? And if it comes from expectations and beliefs, that means that it started with me, and it started with me creating the expectation and creating the original behavior of sharing and being open and wanting to connect and, add value. And so when I think about how we can use that in our businesses, I just kind of think about setting the expectation. And that's something that Arnold, who was my like Beachbody rep, our Beachbody mentor, has worked with me a lot on, is setting that expectation. And personally, I have a hard time with that, which it seems easy to do, but it's, I guess, also easy not to do. But if you start things off in your challenge group or in your team page or in your team call or in your one-on-one calls with your coaches, if you set that expectation from the beginning that this is what I want to accomplish, this is how I want this call to go, this is how I want our time together to feel, I want you to walk away feeling XYZ, like feeling inspired, feeling empowered, feeling like you want to contribute, then that is how you're going to continue to build that culture. And as I think back to like some of the early days of Fit Family, well, it's Fit Family Network now. At one point it was Fit for Life. And, but, as I think back to that, like I did plant those seeds very early on of wanting, of like setting that expectation of, hey, I'm going to show up every day and be on this team call on Monday, even if there's only one other person here. And like little by little, more and more people showed up, and people come and go, of course, as you know. But I set that expectation. I created that behavior to know that I was going to be there, and I was going to be that consistent person that was there. The other thing is that a culture, like your team culture, whatever you want that to look like in your world, it doesn't happen by accident. And that's something that I'm also working on for myself this year, is like being more intentional about what I want. So, a lot of you guys, like a lot of the things that I know I work on with some of my personally sponsored, which some of you guys are on here, a lot of the things that we work on is how do we get our discount coaches to mold into business builders? Or like, how do we get our people to kind of take that next step? Or even coaches that sign up saying they want to do the business, how do we get them to actually start taking action? And so as I was thinking about that today, about how things don't happen by accident, about being more intentional and about setting the expectation, that is something that I've been doing, is setting that expectation earlier and more intentionally, more direct. So I know that like, in the past, I've probably been a little more like wishy-washy, a little more beat around the bush about what it actually takes to build the business. You know, maybe like I wasn't as direct about saying, hey, you need to start hitting Success Club right away to somebody that wants to build a business. But why? Like, why not? If you have somebody that says that they want to build the business, let them know that these are the things that you need to be doing, and don't beat around the bush about it. And you know, that I think that that's probably a mistake that I've made in the past, is not being as upfront and honest. Not that I was trying to be dishonest, but I wasn't, you know, like I think I could have helped more people to really understand what it takes and what they should be looking at and driving for and like setting their focus on. And it also, that rolls into the culture of the team that you're creating as well. You know, like if you want to have a culture of people submitting to the Beachbody Challenge, like I talked about on last week's call, then you better be talking about it in your team page, and you better be about it on your Facebook page and in your team newsletter and whatever else that you do with your team and your challenge group. So you have to be very intentional about planting those seeds of what you want your culture to be like and what your expectations are from them. And you have to be consistent and persistent. And sometimes it feels like, you know, like it's overkill, I guess. You know, like even for me, sometimes I hesitate to post about Success Club or to say like, here's the Success Club tracker, or because I'm like, all right, are they going to think that I'm like beating a dead horse about the Success Club thing? But the reality is I'm not the one that set the parameters of like these milestones for growing your business. Beachbody did. And we are all in this Beachbody business. So if that is something that you're wanting to do to grow your business, then I'm not going to feel bad for sharing about it and talking about it and checking in with you and saying like, Robin, where are you at with Success Club this month? I'm at this. Where are you at? What are you doing to help get, you know, to help get more points, and to like talk about those things? Because, you know, if that's the things that Beachbody is saying that we need to do to build our business, and that's the things that I want to be a part of my team culture. Because if I want my team culture to be about growth and to be about helping change lives and to be about building a business, then those are the things that I'm going to talk about. So what I want you guys to do is to spend some time to really kind of, you know, like we've done that exercise before about kind of drawing out who your ideal customer is, you know, like even to the point of giving that person a name and what do they like to do and what magazine do they read and where do they like to go? Are they at Starbucks or are they at Dunkin' Donuts? Or, you know, like really like getting down to those nitty-gritty details about somebody. And I think it would be really cool to kind of do that about your team and your team culture. Like think about, like if you've been to Winter Summit, like think about what your Winter Summit is going to look like. You know, like what is that event going to look and feel like? Or, you know, maybe if you want to think about regular summit, you know, coach summit, that's going to be in New Orleans, you know, and think about what your team event is going to look like. You know, do you have 5 coaches there or 10 coaches there? Are you guys going to have a coffee date or a brunch or a go for happy hour? Or like, what does that look like? What does that feel like? What are you guys going to talk about? And like, as you like really think about what you want that to be, I think that it makes it a lot easier to share about the business opportunity and about the coaching side of Beachbody. Because, you know, if you're just saying like, I mean, if you're just sharing like these vanilla posts about the business side, then it's not that exciting. But if you're sharing about this vision of this awesome family that you're creating of like positive, like-minded people that have goals and that want to pay off their debt and that, you know, like having this connection with people all around the world that have these same goals and focuses and ambitions as you, then you're showing people what they're getting and what they're buying into and this awesome family that they're going to be a part of. And you're sharing with them basically the culture that they're going to be buying into. And I might just be really weird about this, but like because I like to travel and stuff, like I think about culture like a lot outside of like culture for an organization. Like I think of cultures like, you know, the real kind of cultures too, like what it's like to live in another country and what would it be like to live in Costa Rica and like would I have my own coffee tree? Like, I don't know, I think really weird things all the time. So like if you think about like cultures of different countries and stuff. And like, if you would think about your next prospect, your next business builder, your next 15-star diamond coach, like what if they were looking at a list of countries to move to and like, oh, okay, if I move into this region of the world, I'm going to have to, you know, it's going to be, you know, cold this many months and the cost of living is going to be about this much. And like, you kind of know expectations or you kind of know some things about different regions and what it would be like. And so that's what we have to create and share with our network because they don't know. Like if you just don't know what it's like to live in Greenland, then you don't know and you're not excited about it because you're not thinking about it. So it's our job to share what it's like to be a part of our team and to be a part of our network and our family. And I think that's how we can be stronger in sharing about the business opportunity. And that is pretty much a consistent thing that I hear from a lot of coaches is that we have a hard time sharing and inviting to the business. So I think that that's a really cool way to share about it without feeling like you're salesy or feeling like you're icky by saying like, hey, who wants to like, you know, earn some extra money on the side or who wants to like, you know, find ways to help pay your groceries this week or, you know, like some things like that maybe are very relatable to your network. But then I know a lot of you guys, you don't feel like that's relatable to your network. So I just think that it would be a really cool way for you to really define what that culture is for you, whether you want to specify it to the business or a challenge group, and use that as a way to share about Beachbody and to share how it's fit into your life and what you see going forward. So anyways, I'm going to share some of these other tips from the email I got. I didn't want to read each one of them because they don't 100% apply to everything, but it was a really good email though, and I wanted to, so I'll put that in the group. But we only have a couple minutes left. Did anybody have anything that they wanted to ask or add to that, or any questions, comments? Let me check on the chat. Oh, okay. Sophie said that that Beachbody On Demand comes with a meal planner. Yeah, and that is a really cool feature. And I remember like when I first signed up for the club membership that I was super impressed with it.
Check it out, Jen. I'm doing some manicotti from because I'm vegetarian, and I follow that meal planner. And people are like, "Where do you get your stuff from?" And I tell them, if you sign up for Beachbody On Demand, you also get a meal planner on teambeachbody.com.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, and then Courtney says, I honestly haven't talked much about it, but maybe that's something. I wish I paid attention to milestones when I started my business. Yeah. Oh, and Success Club. Yeah. So definitely something that you should be talking about. I'm not sure when you said that or what you were talking about, maybe Team Cup. But yeah, so less than a minute. All right. So anyways, guys, thanks for hopping on tonight. And if you guys do like take the time to really kind of create that vision of what you want your culture to be, I would love for you to share it. And especially if you make a post about it on your Facebook page, I would love for you to share that into the team page too, just so that we can see your post and then we can go and support your post as well and just get ideas from one another. So I hope you guys have a good night and a good week, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.